My name is Amelie. I am the host and creator of Celestic Intelligence and the podcast. So, welcome. Thank you so much for joining me. Um, so, we've been having a really exciting discussion about structure. In I would say end of February, March, we really talked a lot about just setting a really solid foundation for identity. And so now we're moving into this beautiful structure and what that means for us. And I apologize for being late. I was finishing up making some nachos for my son. Um, it's Taco Tuesday, but he really doesn't like to eat tacos. So go figure. Um, all right, let me grab my notes here. Today we're going to be talking about the topic is coherence. And coherence is, I think, it's threaded in everything that I talk about, but it's so important and crucial that you understand what coherence is. And so if you're operating with that survival adaptation, it's going to be hard to have coherence. It's and we're going to talk a lot about what coherence is and how that lands for us. Um but let's yo. Mm-mm. Just finding my notes here. Maybe. All right. Yes. Okay. So we found it. All right. So I don't really like to, I mean, it is sort of lecture style, but I don't like to um, like tell you how to live. This is stuff that you either are going to resonate and choose to implement and integrate into your life, or you're going to hear it and it's not going to make sense. And part of that is this coherence. So we've been talking a lot about, or I've been talking a lot about really coming into one with not only your heart, but your mind and your body, that it's all intertwined together and it's all working together in a beautiful, cohesive way. And so if you've if you've ever been in like a healing circle, the healing circle or healing community or whatever you want to call it, I don't know what to call it, but welcome everybody. I see you guys popping in. Go ahead and throw a like, sub if you're interested in hearing more. But if you've ever tried like mindset work, if you've ever been into healing, into strategy, embodiment, discipline, or even like knowing how to surrender to, life, and you've found that some of it works, but some of it is hard to completely intimate. Hello, Fart. Nice to see you. Thank you for joining. Um, so parts of it may have worked, but if none of it was really holding, like you're going through it and you're like, I intellectually know that this is the way to go, but I am unable to, even though I'm able to intellectualize how it works, I'm unable to integrate it wholly in my body and hold it there. That is showing you that there's some distortion in your system. Queen of Eagles, you made it. Hello, lovely. Thank you for joining. Um, so if you're not in coherence, the things that you're learning, these beautiful things that are, I will say that they do help hold some good with them, but you're going to have a little bit of distortion if, the with the mindset, with your healing journey or progress, with whatever your strategies are, you're going to have some distortion if your coherence, your identity is not stabilized, okay? So it doesn't have a place to land. And we're really, we worked through all that identity. And now we're coming into how do I become stable in not just my present timeline, but in past timelines and in future timelines? How am I time traveling and still being able to be grounded in the present moment in my body, that my mind my mind and my heart and my body all work together in a cohesive way. All right. So if your system is holding these distortions, it is not in coherence. Your system is not in coherence. And I'm talking about the nervous system, all these indicators that are working, that are trying to work for you. They're like working against each other because there's this energetic cognitive dissonance that's going on inside your body. If your heart and your mind are not working together, they're it's going to cause a lot of exhaustion because the heart is telling it one thing, the mind is telling it another, and then your body is telling it another. If it's not communicating all together with coherence, it's going to be exhausting energetically, fatiguing, exhaustion, burnout, like all of these keywords. They're buzzwords right now because we don't know how to have all of our body communicate with each other. KDD. Hello. Thank you. Not bad. Not bad yourself. Okay. So if your body is completely in contradiction, it is going to have a hard time stabilizing. And if you can't stabilize in this timeline or at any time in any timeline that you're in, if you cannot stabilize, you're going to be filled with contradictions. It's going to be difficult and hard for you and exhausting. Just energetically, me thinking about it makes me feel tired. Like, because I've been that person. I can think of me on a different timeline in the past where I was this person. Okay. So it's very fatiguing for me to even think about it. When I get those feelings now, I can feel it in my body, the fatigue and just all the other emotions that come along with the contradiction of self. And in my body now, I'm like, I do not want to feel that way, and how am I going to work this out so that it is in coherence, that there is stability there. All right. um is it Javid Hossein? New here. Can you introduce, please? Oh, my name is Amelie, and I am the host and creator of Celestic Intelligence, and that's me. Hello. And thank you for joining. Make sure you guys subscribe so that you guys can follow as I continue on throughout this year. Thank you for the love. And hello. Is it Naim? Zakaria? At least Zakaria. I think I got that right. Hello from Morocco. Thank you for joining. All right. So what is coherent? What it actually is that body, heart, and your mind in total agreement. It's in total agreement, okay? The signals that are coming internally from this cohesive agreement that's going on internally, there's no competition, there's no competing, there's no contradictions, okay? It's flowing, it's communicating, it's a well working machine. And that's really what we've got to start looking into. And you're not going to get there if you don't know what your identity is. If you don't know how to stabilize your identity, this is going to be like getting this into a cohesive field is going to be difficult. All right. Because the, the body, the mind, and the heart are competing with each other. Can't help but appreciate your nails. Thank you. Can't I was asking my esthetician. It's like, do people get this color a lot? And he's like, yeah, the younger kids do. And I was like, except for me, my bold behavior. Okay. Um, so coherence is that mind, body, and heart in agreement. And then the internal signal that you're broadcasting is not competing with itself. Okay. And then decisions inside, when you're making a decision, there's no internal resistance. All right. So the decisions are not hard to make because it's all in agreement together. Now when your mind is like, okay, what decision are we making? It's able to like speak with the heart, speak with the body. Like, you know what? This doesn't feel good. You know, when I'm talking about how that competition, that contradiction, that energy of contradiction, how that like mentally has me, like my internal reactions is like, whatever you do, do not go back to that. Like, that's taking a back step. Okay. Mike's in the house. Hello, Mike. Do you give sessions? I mean, is is it all free and live, or do you have a separate class? Um, I am starting up classes, so I'll be announcing that later on. And so, if that's something that you want to work on and you're interested in, totally open to it. It has to make energetic sense for me to do it. But right now, it's all free and live. All right. All right. So coherence is when your system stops arguing with itself. Okay. It's this is not a means of being in perfection, because there's no perfection. Like, there's always going to be something that you're working towards. Okay. It's not constant calm. It doesn't mean that you're constantly this like monk, okay, and nothing goes wrong, because things happen, life happens, and it's testing you, and it's constant. It's a constant thing, okay? That's why we're here. And I was playing, I don't know if you guys play video games, but I was playing Hogwarts Legacy earlier this year, and part of the storyline is uh the one of the witches was able to pull the pain out of people and hold that pain as an emotion, and it was a power or an energy. And it really got me to thinking, what would life be like without pain? So this isn't like calm as in there's no pain that happens in life. Like, things are going to happen, but when you're in coherence, you're better able to metabolize, energetically metabolize those things as they come up. Okay. Just coherence is agreement of your body, of your heart, of your mind. Okay. Okay, so why nothing works without coherence, okay? You can do everything right and still fail to stabilize. Like I said, when I'm talking about survival adaptation, if you're still in a fear response, but you're just so used to living in that fear response that now it kind of looks like you got it all together, you're able to put a front out that I've got this in control. That's survival adaptation, but you're doing it in a way that I'm afraid of losing this, because if I lose this, then da 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 da, then I die. Okay, so that fear response is just this fear of death, and so you try to control in one way or another. Okay, so you can still have everything looking like everything's right, but if you don't have that coherence, that stabilization is likely going to have failures. It's going to be difficult. Is it my fault? No, I just do this. I have a job, but I just do this part time. I do it like once or twice a week or whatever. Oh, queen of eagles. All right. Um. So you could do everything right, still fail to stabilize, because your mind will set a goal, your heart might distrust it, and then your body starts bracing. Like, you'll start to somatically feel the brace. Like, when I was talking about being in that like destabilized, where the whole body isn't working together, like immediately I could feel it in my stomach. I was just thinking about a time where I was in that state, and my stomach was just like, it immediately knotted up, like right here above the belly button. I just started feeling it because I'm listening to my body. My body is stabilized with my heart, is stabilized with my mind, is all working together in agreement. So, what happens when your heart's distrusting, your body's bracing, but your mind is like, we're on this mission to get this goal done? We're going to stock up on toilet paper. We're going to fill the pantry with all kinds of whatever. Okay. And your heart is like, wait, I don't know that this is the right decision. And then your body's just like, oh my gosh, I don't even want to get out of bed. This mind is crazy. Like, obviously, the heart knows what's going on here. Okay. So, what happens? Now you're going to show up with inconsistency. All right. Inconsistency is like maybe going to work late. Maybe, that's telling you something about your job. Like, your body's just like, I don't even want to go to work right now. I know I'm just going to be sitting at that computer and people are just going to annoy me. And we're just going to like plow and power through it. Right. So, that inconsistency of showing up late might happen. Right. Self sabotage might happen as well. Okay. Burnout, like I said, I've been through two extreme bouts of burnout, and it's not fun. It really was me just showing up to work, because if I don't show up to work, then my mortgage doesn't get paid, my car doesn't get paid, my blah 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 blah. All the things don't get done. Then I don't have resources to do these maintenance things that I need to do on my house, and then if I lose the house, then I'm homeless, and then if I'm homeless, then I'm more threatened to die. Okay. It really does go down that to that thing. And so when I think about burnout, I'm thinking about all the things that I did in order to like control the situation and make everything look right, even though inside I was just completely destabilized. All right. And then another thing that will happen is when you expand, okay, when it's expanding, we're in a big expansion energy this year. Last year was very contraction. This year is very expanded energy. So, starting new things, the energy is there to like keep going. When the expansion happens, if you're destabilized, collapse happens. I see this with my friend. My friend is writing a book. He wouldn't mind if I shared this. He's writing a book. He's like doing all these things, expanding. He's released a book, expanding, releases a book. But I'll see his ebbs and flows, okay? I'll see when he's expanding and I'll see when he's contracting. And part of that is it's a natural cycle, but the collapse is like I'm going to start a podcast, okay? Let's say I start Amalay's Fun Time podcast. Okay. So I start Amalay's Fun Time podcast, and I'm not stable, but I'm just like, I want everything to look perfect. And then I do one episode, then I do another episode, then I do another episode. And then like, I don't like the quality of it. And then, there's other things about it. And then I get up and I'm going to do the podcast and I'm like, oh my gosh, I just don't even want to do it right now. I don't even want to talk for however 30 minutes. And I don't even know what I'm going to talk about. And so instead of like continuing on and doing my podcast, I collapse. So I had this really exciting, I'm going to do the podcast expansion moment. And then when I started putting, feet to the bricks, started hitting that bricks, then I collapse and then the podcast dies. That's why most podcasts don't make it past 20 episodes. Flash us. Oh, okay. Mhm. Better than my therapy. You're so on point. Damn lucky to have you randomly. I really appreciate that. Thank you. Okay, so those are some of the things that are happening because of this destabilization that you're experiencing within yourself. So, and it's not that you're failing, okay? Because you're able to intellectually understand what the path is to get healing, to change your mindset, to, to rearrange your strategy. Like you're able to do that. But if you don't have coherence within your own body, you're divided we fall. United we stand, divided we fall. There's a reason why that saying is for the United States, because it literally is that. But it starts with each individual understanding that within themselves that you're you're not failing. If you have internal division, it's going to start being broadcast outside. Okay, so whatever is on the inside, that's the story that's going to start playing on the outside. Okay. And that's where the inconsistencies, the self sabotage, and all that stuff comes in. All right. Okay. Um, so let's look at this. I kind of talked about it in my other podcasts, but let's look at this in another way. So we'll just kind of talk about that three-way split. So the brain is your strategy, okay? The brain is the one that's saying, I can do this. All right. Um, so the brain is like, I can do this, I can make this happen. But when the heart, that gnosis, that knowing of the heart, it's like got this. They say that the heart is like just as powerful or more powerful than the brain. That it's like a brain itself. So that's what some of the science that people that are studying this are starting to find out, that the heart knowing, it's a brain itself. So if the mind is not listening to the heart because it's disconnected, it's like the brain's just like, just do the thing, and the heart's saying something and the brain is just overriding it. Then the heart is going to start saying, I don't feel safe. And that's a disconnection, a part of this core problem that's happening, because we're very cerebral in our society. Like, we think that logic can solve most every problem. Money can solve most every problem. We think that just throwing all this like logic and money at things is going to solve problems. Okay. But it's not going to do that if that heart is not stabilized. If it's not feeling safe, then you're divided. There's that first, that's a first division. Okay. That's a two-way split. Now the body is the memory. Okay. The body has the memory. I talked about how the skeletal system holds memory of your ancestors, of your environment. It's like paramagnetic. It's bringing all that stuff. I think it's paramagnetic. Maybe maybe I have it backwards. Maybe it's diamagnetic. Whatever the pole is, it's pulling this information in from your surroundings. It's constantly doing that. And the when it's when your body is operating from that perspective energetically, you're pulling all of this information in, and then it's supposed to go to the brain. But if the brain is not connecting to the body and not sensing all of that stuff that the body is working and building and storing in its memory, then that's this is a whole conflict. Then we have the three-way split. Okay, the body is telling you, I've been here before. When I was talking about the actual like things that happened to me where I went through burnout, just thinking about it, I had a reaction to it. Okay. Because it's like, I've been here before. I didn't feel safe in that. And immediately I could sense it in my body because I've been doing a lot of integration and embodiment work to get to where I can be stabilized, because I want to do like telepathy. I want to be able to translocate. I think that the body is, that this is possible in this body to be able to do these things. Like, Contact, to me, the movie Contact with Jodie Foster, isn't a far off from actually being able to happen for me. Okay. I don't think that these things are, that we're not able to do it. Okay. But we definitely aren't able to do it if our systems are completely contradicting all of our systems together, body, heart, and mind. Okay. Now, once we recognize that there's this conflict happening, we will try to fix it. Okay. People will try to fix it. They'll think, they'll do more thinking, more thinking, more thinking, more thinking. And that just, you can do that, but it's not going to solve the core problem, because the core problem is this split of energy of the memory and the brain and the heart not working together. They'll try to fix it with more effort, thinking that if I do this extra thing, then I'll feel safer. If I do this extra thing, then, okay, and more control, just thinking that you can control everything and keep yourself safe. You're, if I think, if you're trying to control situations, the more hardcore you are about it, the more unsafe you feel inside. All right. But I'm here to tell you, you cannot out strategize internal contradictions. Okay. You just can't do it. Jerusha! Jerusha's here. All right. I forgot to charge my phone, so we're gonna go until I can't go anymore or I finish. I think I'm at part 4 and I think there's only 10, so. All right, now let's move on to somatic memory, which is the hidden saboteur. Okay. So when the body is still holding betrayal, which is a big one. I think I overlook it, what betrayal is. And now that I've actually been focusing on, okay, what areas in my life do I feel betrayed? I mean, it was like opening Pandora's box once I started looking at, oh, here's a betrayal, here's a betrayal, here's a betrayal. And then I can start working on, okay, how do I move through this? How do I feel about the situation? How am I going to respond to it? You know, is it still holding control? Yeah, if it's still a somatic memory of betrayal in my body, then yeah, it is going to start sabotaging and destabilizing me. All right. And it's same goes for you. I'm not any different than you are. I just happen to be, live streaming in front of however many people. All right. The body somatically will still hold abandonment as well. Okay. So if you've ever been abandoned, in any shape, way, or whatever. It could be abandoned or neglected, even as a kid, if your parent worked too much. Your parent can still be around, but if as a child they worked so much that, they're working 80, 90 hours to keep house and home together, but you never had a relationship with that parent, you're going to have some abandonment feelings if, you weren't nourished in certain ways by that parent. And so somatically, your body is still going to hold that. So you can go into those memories and start. That's the beautiful thing. There's retro causality. You can go back into those situations and rewrite the script. Okay. Retro causality. You can go into different parts of your life. You can go into your ancestry and into their life and rewrite the script and address these issues that sit in your system. Okay. The body will still hold shame. Shame will sit in your body. And you might be able to even see it if you look in the mirror long enough of areas where you feel shame. Okay. And then the body will hold that instability as well. All right. So we're really just being, how do I really feel in my body? Where are the hidden saboteurs of the somatic memories located? And you'll feel it. Okay. So here's some of the things that you might, if you have tension, you might get tension headaches. That's your body is telling you something. You might hold tension in your shoulders, which is a commonplace. It's kind of like protecting yourself or even holding the world on your shoulders. You'll start to feel tension. You might feel tension in other parts of your body. You might have tension in your jaw if you're not like speaking up for yourself. Okay. It can be stored as contraction, as avoidance, all right, as attraction patterns. So maybe your pattern is finding people that are emotionally unavailable. You're attracted to that because on a certain level, you feel safe with it. You're like, I feel safe with it, even though I know it's not good for me. I feel safe with it, of continuing to go to that. All right. So even when let's say that your mind forgets about it. All right. A lot of us don't remember like certain parts of our childhood, or if we went through CPTSD or PTSD moments, we might not even recall it. We're not able to recall it. It's like, I don't remember that happening. I don't remember anything. Okay. That's your mind not remembering, but your body remembers. Okay. There's a great book called The Body Keeps Store or something like that. I haven't read it, but I've heard about it. And it's true. Somatically, your body is keeping score of all of these betrayals, abandonments, shames, you name it, things that have happened to you, even the good things. Like it's keeping score of all those things. And it's possible to let those go. Like somatic work is real and you can let those go. Okay. So this is why, like, even though you don't remember it and you're like, that's not even on my radar, when you go to do something and you're experiencing some of these destabilizing things that I've been talking about, okay? Your body is still like it's the memory. Your body is still in that if it's holding betrayal or abandonment, it doesn't forget. So even though the mind can't like recall it, it doesn't mean that it's not still affecting your present, okay? So that's how it works. So we're working on getting all of these pieces together and stabilizing. All right. Now we have some false signals and we have some true signals. So some trauma based signals might be, and I'm sure we've all felt these, um, urgency, anxiety, intensity, or even that familiar chaos. Just what I was just talking about, that familiar chaos where you're like, I'm gonna, uh, like, let's say that, for example, for me, I'll just be really upfront and honest about me. So, when I was young, my dad was completely out of the picture. So, I had no male protector, provider, role model that I could count on my whole life. And so when I got to be of dating age, I would choose emotionally distant or unavailable people because that's what I knew and that's what I was safe and okay with. It was a familiar chaos, all right? And you've probably seen and or heard this in people in your life where you've watched Becky go date Sam and then they have this tumultuous terrible relationship and then they break up and then they're over, even though it takes a while. And then immediately after, Becky's like, I'm going to go date this person. And then it's still like it ends up being in this familiar chaos, just like the last one. And it's like, even though the skins change, the situation is still the same. And it's this familiar chaos that is this trauma based signal that you're because you have that trauma based signal, you're like, it's like manifesting in your life these partners. For example, in Becky's case, and Becky is a fake person. So if your name is Becky and you're watching this and you're going through that, totally random. So, what are some true signals? All right. True signals are this calm clarity. And on Saturday, I did a whole thing on clarity and why it seems aggressive. But you'll be very clear about your boundaries. You'll be very clear in your communication about what you expect, what you don't like, what you like. You're going to be able to speak into that. And it might, if people are used to walking all over you, they're not going to like that. Okay. Another true signal is just this steady knowing, because when you're in coherence, like, just think of like your body is just beaming this huge light up into the heavens and you're able to like get even more information. It's like you're this like really bright light that's just like boom. You're not just working here in this 3D realm, like you're in different dimensions after that. Ask me how I know. I just my life is pretty crazy, and I know I'm not the only one, but it gets pretty wild. Okay? When you're in a true signal, when your body is in coherence, you're also not going to be in a huge rush. There's no urgency. Okay? You don't have to rush things, right? You don't have to be anxious about what's going to be the outcome. Like, you don't worry about that stuff. Okay? And then finally, you're working in essence. All right? You're able to tap into that beautiful essence of who you are without all of these facades and masks that we put on in as we go through life because we're trying to navigate it. But once you start to get to coherence, you're so damn stable in who you are, in your identity and in your timeline, and nothing shakes you. So you do not need to perform for others so that they don't see the real you. You're not scared to be seen. Okay. So, one thing that you can use in this is this signal false or is it true? Is to ask yourself if it, or to tell yourself if it feels like pressure, all right, it's not truth. If things are like forcing you to make decisions, that's not truth. It's a memory, okay? Oh my gosh. Okay. All right. 20. I'm at 20%. I'm on low power battery mode though. So why do you keep choosing the same patterns? Okay. If you're not choosing what's best, you are choosing what your system can recognize. So if you're not in your decision making, your highest decision making, and your body's all working together, and you're not able to choose what's best, you're just going to choose what you can recognize because that signal is familiar to you. It's safe to you because it's familiar. That's the only reason. People that can have access to you constantly, even though they're not good for you, just having access and familiarizing, that's what they do in grooming. It's grooming. Okay. Now that you're so used to being around this person, your system's like, okay, that person's safe. It's familiar. It's safe. It's familiar. It's safe. Even though, like, at first, your body's like, this is not safe. My heart is telling me this is not safe. Okay. Your system is going to choose based on what it can what it recognizes. All right. So, in that sense, attraction, whatever you're attracting, it doesn't have to be, part like a partnership. It could be just friends. If you're attracting people that keep their distance and then are inconsistent themselves, and then you're like, man, I made friends with these people, and now uh, I see them hanging out with these other friends that I introduced them to, but they're not hanging out with me anymore. Um, yeah, your system is bringing that in. What about your system has brought that into your life? Okay. So when attraction equals familiarity, that is not alignment. Okay. That is not alignment. So that's why you keep on choosing those similar patterns. So you'll re enter in the same dynamics like our poor dear Becky, who's a fake person that I made up. Our poor dear Becky is just re entering into the same dynamics over and over and over again with just her different partners, but it ends and results in the same dynamic, even though she wants to change it. um, People will repeat cycles. So we just came into a 10 or a 1 year. We just completed a whole cycle in our lives, like just for a year situation. Okay. Some people didn't clean up some of the things that they needed from that cycle and they brought it in their new cycle. So they're going to repeat that cycle. Okay. What's a good example? I know I have some. Um, uh, what was it? Maybe I'll come back to it. um, Now, when these things happen and you're running into these similar patterns, people will call it bad luck. Oh, that's really bad luck. I just keep on, I don't know why this keeps on happening to me. It's bad luck. I had a friend of over, I had a person I had known for almost 30 years, over 30 years actually. Over 30 years known this person. And I would just watch this person repeat the same cycle and get frustrated and then say the same thing. I'm going to start doing things different, but then wouldn't at the end of the day. And as much as I spoke and talked through that person, like, you know, this is what I'm seeing, these are the things that you need to change, they never changed. They just kept on doing the same thing over and over and over again. And there just came a point where I was like, this is not serving me. It's more energy for me to dish out than it is for me to like maintain the relationship. Like, so I had to make a decision of, do I keep this long-term relationship of this person that I've known for over 30 years? I mean, that's a good chunk of my life. It's like almost 25% of my life I've known this person. Do I keep them in my life, or is it time for me to just let it go because the pattern is the same and it was causing me grief? It was it was hard to watch. And I finally had to just say, you know what, I can't be in this dynamic anymore. I cannot continue the dynamic. So I had to choose um my own internal coherence because I was working on like really getting clear with where my energy is. Okay. So these things are, when you keep on choosing these same patterns that are not serving you and they're demonstrating that there's some sort of split with your own internal system, your coherence um, is failing. So you're experiencing coherence failure. All right. And we're wanting to get them nice and aligned here. We want to be in alignment. All right. Um, I briefly have been talking about it, but I think I did one for the digital age, but I really want to talk about this feminine reclamation layer. It's not just for women, this is for men too. Okay. So the you have to think about in a Lilith, so we're talking about the Lilith energy archetype, Sophia wisdom archetype, and the Mary Magdalene archetype. So these archetypes, they're not like the only three feminine archetypes, but they're just three that I've identified that I have been integrating. And this is, part of Jungian work. So if you ever follow Carl Jung, you'll know about this. But Lilith is a rejected truth. So think of moments where you were silenced or you silenced yourself. Um, why are you silencing? Okay. Remember, being in coherence is having that clarity and clear communication, clear decision making, just having like a holistic clarity within yourself. Okay. So think about where you were silenced. Think about any time that your instinct was punished. Okay. These are all things that you can reflect on. Think about where your own raw expression became unsafe. Okay. Like where these things come from. A lot of these come from, the childhood home. Hey, you beautiful, wear the wig. Oh, I do. I have my wigs. They're all, um, I have three wigs now. I'm very excited. Deborah! Aw, thanks for joining, babes. Good to see you, Kindred. Um, okay, so when you're silencing, when your instinct to do something has been punished, or where your own raw expression becomes unsafe, okay, I think about this in myself, and this is why I love dancing. But I remember, or not, I remember, I was taking a dance class, and we were learning Roomba. We were learning Roomba, and it's a very Latin and expressive dance. Okay, so there's as the follower, there's certain times where you're just like, you know, you get to just express your body, just the raw expression. All right. And the whole class, when it came to the followers like doing their thing, the whole class was like, I think there was maybe one person that was not afraid to like express themselves bodily. Everyone else was just like, you could feel the tension in the room of, oh my gosh, people are going to judge me. They're going to look at me different. They're going to watch me and like, they're going to critique me or whatever. That is this rejection, um, in this raw expression where you feel unsafe just doing that. Okay. So when you're rejecting truth like that, the result is suppression of body truth. So you're not going to listen to that body memory. And when you fear being too much, that raw expression, okay, just coming out and saying like crazy thing. I do it all the time. I say lots of crazy things. I, there was one point in 2021 or something like that where I made the vintage recipe banana ham from scratch on YouTube and ate it. It was wild. What a crazy time that was. But it was like I'll just randomly do crazy things. Like I'm expressing myself in these odd ways, but there's a lot of me that I don't share. In fact, I remember I was dating someone, I was like, you don't even get to see like all of me. This is like a fraction of who I am. And part of that is that fear of being too much. If I'm my whole person and expressing myself, there's a part of me that's going to become unsafe, and then I have to kind of revert back. Yeah, I was going to say, when you're going to make another cooking video, oh my gosh. I was thinking about that actually the other day. I was like, man, I should do some more cooking videos. What did I want to make? Oh my gosh. I saw these pineapple slices and I was like, oh my God, you know what'd be really good is pineapple upside down cake. Do you guys like pineapple upside down cake? Like in the cast iron with the caramelized butter, and then you flip it over, and then it's just like amazing. I don't know. All right. So moving on to Sophia. So Sophia is wisdom. And these have been greatly silenced in our society over millennia, okay? But Sophia is a beautiful one. So last year I was talking about King Solomon. And so King Solomon had this beautiful dream when he was a kid, and God came to him in the dream, or he was visited, and was asked, I'll give you anything that you want. Anything that you want. You're going to be a king. Okay. So he could have asked for anything that he wanted. And he asked for wisdom to rule the people. Okay. So King Solomon followed King David. Hopefully, everyone knows the story, but this is the story. So, Solomon basically the whole time that he was ruling Israel, he had wisdom sitting with him. Okay. And the moment that he dismissed wisdom, what happened? And this was all warned to him in his dream. The nation split. Okay. So when you dismiss wisdom, you're not doing yourself any service. All right. It's going to cause a lot of conflict. So what is that? So intuitive knowing is dismissed when you don't have wisdom sitting with you. Okay. You're missing out on that intuitive knowing. And I will tell you, the intuitive knowing is amazing. It's very nice getting just these beautiful little uh they call them Easter eggs when you're like, you know, doing things online. I think like games have them a lot, but they're these beautiful like life Easter eggs to get these intuitive knowings delivered to you. I've heard some really amazing stories from like McKinney's of like, they asked for something, or they were prompted to go talk to somebody, or prompted to go ask something of somebody just randomly, don't even know the people. And because they're connected, they had that intuitive knowing of, oh, I need to go talk to this person. All right. That's that Sophia wisdom that gets to sit with you, and you get to choose on whether or not it's going to sit with you or not. Just like you get to choose whether or not angels are going to come and visit you. All right. They're out there. They're waiting for commands. They want to help you. Just like Sophia wants to sit with you, she delights in having you have her in her life. Um, so what else happens? Wisdom gets externalized, and it's not an externalization process. This is all internal. And truth gets replaced with acceptable narratives. All right. And truth is an amazing thing. I often think about, oh, maybe that's, never mind. I was thinking about trust and control, because really what control is you don't trust that you're going to be provided for, that provisions aren't going to just fall from the sky. Okay. So what's the result when you have that? When you're basically dismissing wisdom from sitting with you, your result is a disconnection from an inner authority. So that intuition knowing, that heart knowing, okay, you're going to have a disconnection from that. We're having some split here, okay? And finally, with Magdalene, so there's a certain level of shame that comes in that. Like a lot of people speak really terribly about her, but she had this beautiful connection with Jesus, okay? And her expression was distorted, all right? Like, I don't know. When I think of her, I think of her in this muted way because I've been taught about her in a muted way. But her presence, like she was there when Jesus was on the cross. She was there when Jesus was taken down from the cross. She was there when she was putting him away in the tomb. She was there when the rock rolled away from the tomb and he was gone. She was there when he came back. Like, I'm getting chills. Like, I don't think we understand the magnitude of Mary Magdalene if we're not thinking about it in this way. She was there. She was the first one to see Jesus resurrected. Okay, we just had Easter. She's an amazing woman. And for some of the ways that people talk about her, oh, she's just a prostitute, she was this or that, really, like, I don't know, that story just does not sit well in me anymore. Okay. So, what's the result of this like shame and this distortion of this embodied voice that Mary Magdalene represents? Is there's this separation from your body as sacred. Okay. Your embodiment is just as important as your mind. Like these three things should be working equally together, they should be flowing together. All right. All right. So, why does this matter for what we're talking about with coherence here? Okay. So, if the feminine body, and this is not gendered, this is energetically, if the feminine body has been suppressed, okay, any suppression in your system cannot fully come into coherence. Okay. And coherence is stabilization, and you've got to have that if you're going to hold firm and have a foundation where you can take on everyday challenges. All right. Your body won't speak, your heart won't trust, and then the truth will not move through you. It doesn't have a space to move through you. All right. So reclamation of this is going to restore the sensation. You're going to start to feel your senses again. Okay. It's going to restore truth because now you're coherent enough to take it, hold it, and have it firmly in your foundation. All right. And reclamation of this feminine energy is going to restore your expression as well. All right. Let's see. I'm at 13%. And I've got two more parts left here, and then I can let you go. Obviously, you can go right now if you wanted to, or you can stay. And like, I'd like you to stay, but if it's not landing with you, then yeah. All right. So now let's talk about timeline instability. Okay, this is a very advanced thinking. So when you are incoherent, you are holding on to past memory. Okay, the grief of losing my mother. I could hold on to that past memory in my body somewhere for a long time. All right. The grief of losing my father. Hold it. Grief of losing my youth. Whatever the grief is, okay? That past memory will be held somewhere in my body and in your body too. Whatever that memory is. Okay? When you're incoherent, you're going to be reacting in the present. Just going to be reacting. You're not going to be calm. You're not going to be pressure or uh, you're not going to be unpressured. You're going to be reacting because of the pressure and the anxiety and whatever else is sitting in you. And you're going to be fearing what's going to happen in the future. That's anxiety, is like, what's going to happen in the future? What's going to happen in the future? Oh my gosh, I'm really like, there's a fear. Something bad is going to happen in the future. Okay. So all of that happens at once. Now, this is going to be creating those looping patterns, like we were talking about, our dear Becky. It's going to repeat cycles of things that, you know, these are things that you needed to learn and you're not learning it. You just keep on steady in that same energy. And it's going to create an inability to move forward. So if you have a new, wonderful, beautiful business idea and you're like, okay, I'm going to implement it, and you get like up to a peak and then like things start falling apart and you're like, oh my gosh, everything is just falling apart. I'm just going to stop. Okay. That's instability. All right. Your timeline is going to fragment when your system fragments. Your timeline is going to fragment when your system. I'm timeline jumping. That's my goal. As I'm doing all of this work, my goal is to be able to time travel. I think I've always just wanted to do it. And now I'm like, I'm going to figure out how to get it done. And it involves it involved a lot of hard work, and it's probably going to still go on in the future. Like, but I'm timeline traveling. I'm a time traveler. I know it. Okay. And I know that timeline stabilization is the most important thing to keep grounded. Because if I don't have anything to ground into and I start time traveling, I might be one of these people that, their mind is fragmented because they can't even stabilize their identity. And now they're like, I've seen it in people. I've seen it in my friend. I had another like person I had to like tell, I can't have you in my life because I can't have this destabilization in my life. And I had known this person for like 20 years, almost 20. It was a long time. And I was like, I I love you as a person, but I can't have you in my life. I can't have you bringing this destabilization in my life. That person, their mind was like, their identity was broken. They couldn't piece it back together. Humpty Dumpty could not put himself back together again. Okay. That's what happened. That's what could happen if you're not stabilized and you're trying to do some time traveling. You can easily, like, your mind can crack. I've thought a lot about this. A lot. Let's go body surfing. Dude, that and like translocating, multilocating, like these are all possible things. The saints were doing it because they were stable. All right, let's talk about stabilization, timeline stabilization. So, coherence happens when the body updates. So, that body is giving the update of, oh, I've got a tension in my shoulder. Okay, what is that telling me? What is it telling me? The body's giving me updates, and now my mind is like, oh, there's something going on here I need to address. Okay. When the heart is settled, so your heart is like, okay, I can trust this. Now I can be relaxed and be calm. All right. And then your mind is in alignment. Right. All of these things need to happen to have that coherence. And now the past, the things where before, when you're holding on to that past memory, now the past is integrated. Remember when I, maybe you don't remember, but if you're watching this from beginning to end, if you're rewatching this, my when my body was talking about burnout and I told you I had that reaction in my stomach, now my past is integrated and my body is giving me an update. That's the update. It's really that simple. Okay. And the present, where before, we're reacting in the present is just clear. Okay. You're just, you just are. It really makes a lot of sense. You just are. I am. Okay. And then now, because you're clear in the present, now the future is accessible. You can, it's almost like I had 4D and 5D really explained really well. So 4D is really time, that tesseract of time. And 5D is like the multiple possibilities that could, all the outcomes that could ever happen. Okay. Now, if your past is integrated, you're not like anchored into the past because now it's integrated into your body and your present is clear. Now you can see all the possibilities in the future. Okay. Now I can see all the possibilities. They're just like, oh, I can do this, I can do that. That's how I can sit here and tell you I'm a time traveler and I'm going to like all different kinds of places. Maybe multiple places at once. It's pretty amazing. All right. So winding down, I'm at 11%. Okay. So what coherence feels like, okay? There's no drama in your coherence, okay? You have a quiet certainty, like things are going to work out. Last Friday, I was talking with somebody, one of my coworkers at work, and he said, um, we're just in this really bad timeline. And I looked right back at him and I was like, my timeline is amazing and it's fun and it's the best timeline I've ever been in that I could ever be in, right? And he looked at me funny and then he dropped it. He's like, well, he's like, I don't know what's going on with you, but whatever. Obviously, you're not tuned into CNN and Fox News and the internet and the local news and all this stuff. And yeah, I'm not. I'm not because I have a certainty that everything is going to work out in my best, that is in my best timeline or not. Everything is working out in my favor because I'm loved and I'm provided for. Okay. So you have a quiet certainty. I didn't have to say all those things to him. I was just like, my timeline is the best timeline. There's never been a better timeline than my timeline for me right now. Okay. Okay. Coherence feels like clean decisions and it feels like less internal noise. Okay. Remember, I was talking about how when you have the contradictions inside, um, it creates a lot of internal noise. So you can't even hear what your body is telling you. Can't hear it because there's so much noise going on. I've been in some crazy situations where I'm like, I don't even know what decision to make right now. Like, I can't even think. I can't even think about what my best outcome is going to be. I can't, I don't even, I have so much noise going on the inside. I can't decide on which direction to go because there was so much internal, I say noise, but the conflict, the internal conflict, the cognitive, the energetic cognitive dissonance that was happening inside was so noisy, I couldn't even think of whatever a good outcome would be. Okay. Coherence feels like less urgency. Things aren't as important. It's like, if it doesn't get done, it doesn't get done. And there's things that I like to do, and I know that there's like deadlines and everything like that. But at the same time, it's like, hmm, it's fine if something gets missed. You can take care of it later. All right. Maybe not tax day, which is tomorrow. So hopefully you guys did your taxes. It takes a little bit of time. It takes me less than an hour to process mine, but I did mine back in February. Okay. There's less urgency. Just like, okay, take care of the thing. The the final thing I'm going to talk about is like when you're in those expansion moments, there's a lot more stability because you as a person are able to in the present stabilize in your timeline. And it's important that you're able to do that. It's a grounding mechanism for you to do that. And you have to have that feminine energy incorporated and integrated into your system to ground that so that you have a resting spot when you start to go do your time traveling. I'm talking to myself. I'm a time traveler. Okay. So you don't need to convince yourself anymore when you have all of these things going on for you. All right. I don't. There's two more. Two more. All right. So I've talked a little bit about why this changes everything, but it does. So let's talk about just some of the key points here. So once you are coherent, your decisions will stick from IRS. Your decisions will stick, okay? The relationships that you have in your life will shift, okay? What did I talk about? People that I had long term relationships with, I had to make a decision, and maybe I'd made those decisions lightly and just like kind of avoided these people. But once they came back and they're like, I want access to you, the relationship had to shift. I had to say, you know what? I can't do it anymore. I'm done. My boundary is don't talk to me anymore. Wish you the best. I hope you figure it out. But as far as I'm concerned, I just cannot continue a relationship with you. Okay. Relationships will shift. And maybe it won't be, I might be a little bit more dramatic, but maybe it won't be as dramatic as that. It's just like they will stop talking to you because now your energy is not connecting with theirs. All right. So the relationships will shift because now, as a magnet, when you're on a different timeline, it kind of changes it. And so now they're not even attracted to you, they're not magnetized to you anymore. But new relationships will start to come in. New relationships will start to come in, and that will start shifting. So just know that when a door closes, many more will open, and it's completely fine. And when you're coherent, you're just like, oh, cool. There's no drama. You're just like, oh, interesting. I wonder what I'm going to learn from you. I'm excited. How what kind of relationship are we going to have here? What kind of test is what kind of test is my energy sending me right now? What is it telling me about myself? Okay. Then the other thing is money will stabilize because money is energy. Money will stabilize. It will be flowing because everything else is flowing right through you. My mom used to say, easy come, easy go about money. Money's easy come, easy go. And that woman was just able to like always make things happen. Just amazing. I'm just like, I don't know how you do it. And just sitting there like, oh my gosh. Kind of sitting in the comfort of my mother's like stabilized energy that she was able to like maintain. I don't know how she did it. I was definitely a little bit more unstable. Took me a long time to be able to stabilize my energy. And I have big energy. Okay. Finally, once you're coherent, opportunities start to expand. Okay. Opportunities start to expand. And it's a beautiful thing. This is very much where your life is not fighting you anymore. Remember that internal conflict? Once that cognitive dissonance is released and it's back into being, in alignment and resonant, your life will stop fighting you. You won't have to say, "Oh, that's bad luck." Good things will just happen because it's like you're just being taken care of. Cuz it's like, "Oh, look at that coherent little Mike over there." Mike is coherent. His body, mind, and soul are all working together. He's not fighting himself anymore. You know what? He's been a really good steward of his energy, and now he's going to have. We're going to bless him with some monetary energy. We're going to bless him with this opportunity that he's going to expand, and he's going to have a big impact on the people that are in his life, the new relationships that are going to come in that need him to show them something about themselves so that they can get cleaned up and have their coherent energy. Okay. That's how it works. All right. So, before we close, we're going to talk about the integration of the whole system that I've been talking about, right? So, with coherence, it all ties together with sovereign interiority, which is who is governing, who's governing your body vessel. Are you giving your agency away? What parts of that are you giving away, and do you know that you're doing that, or are you governing it? Okay, so that's the first one of the first systems that I've talked about. The nervous system is what is holding that memory. All right. Now, survival adaptation, I've talked about it a couple times, is what is distorting the signals within yourself. The essence is what is just there waiting to emerge when you have the clarity, when you have the coherence. Multiplicity is having a range. Remember, I was talking about having that stability, that grounding. Multiplicity is being able to hold different identities, different roles, and be able to interact within those roles, but then still come back to self, integrated and aligned. Okay. And then the signal, when I say signal, is just what others are feeling in your own being. And now we can add into that as we're integrating all of these systems together with all of the what I've been talking about this year. Coherence is what makes all of this work. All right. That stabilization is that coherent stabilization of your mind, your heart, your body. It has to be coherent in order for all of these things to work together. It's what's making it all work. All right. Okay. So, in closing, let's just break it down. You don't need more healing. Okay. You don't need more strategy. All right. And you don't need to become someone else. It's what got you here. If you're thinking like, oh, I just need more healing. Oh, I just need more strategy. Oh, I just need this. I need that. I need this. I need that. I need to become somebody else. I need to wear this mask because if I show up as the real me, I'm going to be rejected. I'm going to get abandoned. All these things are going to happen again. Okay? No. What you need is your system to stop contradicting itself. It's all you need from the get-go. Start there. How can I get connected into my body and listen to what kind of memory is it telling me? How can I hear my heart? Okay. So once you can get the body, once you can get your system to stop contradicting itself, then the moment you become coherent, your life can finally move forward because it's not fighting with itself anymore. It's finally able to move forward. Okay. So, you're either locked in and feeling a lot of what I'm talking about, or um, you might realize that you can't go this deep, and that's fine. I'm here to show you the depth. All right. And I'm not the only person, I'm just one of many. Okay. So next week, I'm really excited to announce that I have a new computer coming tomorrow. Okay. That means and I'm going to be working on installing OBS, and I'm going to be working on getting guests lined up so that I can have guest spots and have get my. I've been working on my station of getting my little, what do they call it, studio space together. So it's a little bit more, I don't want to say professional, but just a little bit more put together. All right. The next stream, though, is going to be about spiritual bypass. And um, it's going to flow really well from the coherence that we just talked about into our next piece, which we're going to be talking about power. So we've started with a foundation. Right now, we're talking about structure, okay? Really being stabilized in that structure and then adding power into that, okay? How do we do that? So, spiritual bypass is important to talk about because there's a lot of mechanisms that are involved in this. And then we're going to be talking about money and really just kind of integrating that as a structure as well, because money is an energy that's just as important as all of these other things. And I want to cover all of the stuff because we're really getting like nice and integrated and holding embodiment of these things that I've been discussing. And so we're just kind of going on this beautiful little path that's easy to follow. So thank you guys so much. Well, um, it's almost 7 o'clock here. Thank you guys so much for joining me. This has been episode 61 of the Celestic Intelligence podcast. We've been talking about coherence and being timeline stabilized, identity stabilized, so that you have a landing space for when you get to kind of venture out and explore worlds that when you're not in coherence, you don't get to experience. It's just a lot more fun uh, if you're kind of bored of being unstable and having chaos all the time. That's kind of boring drama. Like, let's have really good, like, exciting, fun drama of like, I don't know, going places. I'm such an adventurer. So, thank you guys so much. So, I will be on next on for my next episode, episode 62 about spiritual bypass. Next Tuesday, I go live at 5:30 Pacific Standard Time PM. And I would love for you to join. So if you're watching this, please make sure that you subscribe to my channel, like, and then if there's anything that you want to chat about, please drop it in the comments below. Otherwise, I wish you guys the best and I hope to see you guys soon. Take care. Love you.